Hi there, and welcome to your Yin Yoga class. Now, if this is your first time, don't worry, this is a fully adaptable class, so all the poses can be adapted to suit your flexibility and your strength as well. Yin Yoga, if you've never done it before, means we hold the poses for a bit longer, for about 3 to 5 minutes, and we use a lot more props in this sort of class. Now, don't worry if you're at home, it doesn't mean you've got to rush out and buy lots and lots of props, but you can use other things as well. What I'll be using today are blocks. Now, you can use things like cushions, smaller cushions, or books, things like that, or if you've got yoga blocks, then great. I've also got a strap too, but again, you can use anything, and you could use a dressing gown belt, or you can use a jumper or something like that, and you might not even need them. Some people like to do yin yoga without any props at all. Okay, some blankets. Most of us probably around the house have got a blanket lying about, really good for propping yourself up. I'll talk you through it though, and I've got a bolster here as well. And of course, you don't need to go out and get one of these. This is just something that I use while I'm doing yin and lots of other types of yoga with people as well. And it's just a really effective prop. Again, a rolled up blanket will do just the job. So don't worry about that. And I'll talk you through how and when you can use any of these props. So we're going to do today a yin practice. And we're going to start off just by centering ourselves. Now, we do this at the beginning of most yoga practices, regardless of the type. It's really important just to come to your mat and just settle in for a minute. Okay, so let's sit with our legs crossed. If you're wanting to support your legs, if that's too sore for you, you can always put blocks under your knees as well. And another option for you is you can always pop a block underneath your bottom so that your hips are higher than your knees. Some people just find it easier to sit for a longer period of time like that, but everybody is different. This is your practice, okay? So popping your hands wherever is comfortable for you. They can be in the middle or on the knees. Let's just shut our eyes just for a second. And so let's start breathing through our nose, okay? In yoga, we do breathe through our nose wherever possible. And let's just try and focus on using all of our lung capacity. We apparently only use about 20% of our lung capacity when we're breathing normally. So I think we breathe quite shallow, generally speaking. So we need to try and make use of all this area down here. So when we're breathing in, really breathe in and open up that core so that the air can come in and fill up your lungs. And when you're breathing out, push it out. That's it as well with those muscles in your abdominals. So let's breathe in and just breathe out. That's it. And start to settle into your mat. Feel those sit bones on the block or on the mat. Really just feel yourself sitting, arriving at your practice, ready to get stuck into your yin yoga. That's it. Keep breathing. Now we're going to try and do a little focused breathing. I'm going to count you through it and you're going to breathe in for 3 and out for 3. That's it, okay? So just follow along to my count, okay? Settling in your next exhale. You're going to inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2 and 3. Inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2 and 3, and exhale, 2 and 3. Inhale, 2 and 3, and exhale, 2 and 3. Inhale, 2 and 3, and exhale, 2 and 3. And just relax and try and keep that breathing going throughout your practice, okay? I'll talk you through everything. And so we're going to be focusing, as I said before, on hips today. Hip openers are a really stiff area, especially if your lifestyle involves driving a car, sitting at a desk. Yeah, that does include a lot of us, I think, doesn't it? So let's start off by coming into butterfly pose, okay? So what this involves is sitting with your soles of your feet together like this, And you don't have to have them jammed right up. Have a nice diamond shape there. Okay, now we're just going to try and get comfy. There's 3 principles of Yin Yoga, and that is finding your edge first of all, which means finding the point at which you think, yeah, that's getting a bit maybe too much, but you can sit there for a good 3 minutes, and we have to just find a bit of stillness, a bit of contentment for that 3 minutes, and we have to do the time as well. So don't you worry, I'll time it for you. So let's get our feet together. Now you can put blocks under your knees, like that, or under your thighs if that's better. Okay, a lot of it is a very, very personal thing. You've got to find what works for you. Now, you can hold onto your feet gently and straighten the back. Inhale and then come over with a nice straight back. Okay, so I'll do this from the side to show you. So you can hold on to the feet there and come over. Okay, now you can put the hands out in front of you. You can also use blocks in front of you as well. And another option is get that blanket, pop it under that bottom and go from there. Okay, you need to find a position that suits you, and that's totally different for absolutely everybody. So I'll put my blanket underneath here. That's it. And I'm going to sit with my feet together. That's it. And then just settle in and I will start the timer. So, go wherever you're going to go. Now, you might only be a tiny little bit forward, and that's absolutely fine. You can rest your hands on your knees as long as you're at your edge, okay? So there's no point in sitting and thinking, this is far too easy for me. You should be coming forward into the pose, and what you can also do as well is you can have a block between your feet, and if your head can come down that far, resting your head on the block. Okay? So you should be at that edge, okay, by now. And you will find, because you're going to try and keep that breathing going for me as well, as we go through the time in this pose, then you might be able to go a little bit deeper, okay? So just settle in and go wherever you're going to go. Really just play about with the blocks and things and see where it's going to be the most effective for you. That's it. And you will feel a stretch, I hope. That's it. And try and feel, where am I tight? Have I got any sore bits? That sort of thing. And just relax into it. Settle into it. You don't need to go anywhere for the next couple of minutes, okay? And we'll be holding the poses today for, on average, about 3 minutes, okay? So don't worry about that. Just accept you're going to be here and this is what you're going to be doing. And the more you hold the poses, you should never be in pain, ever, okay? Never ever be in pain. I'll just swap around and show you different ways to put your head or your arms. That's it. Or you can be up here. That's it. So nothing should ever be painful, but a little discomfort is okay. If you're at that edge, you are going to feel a slight discomfort, okay? And reassess as well when you're in your position. Just after you've settled in, think, can I go a wee bit further? And you'll soon know. But if you're doing that breathing, you should hopefully be able to relax into a pose just a little bit more. That's it. And what we're doing with Yin is we are concentrating on the fascia. You might have heard of that word, you might not have. If you think of the fascia as a big net of connective tissue all around your body, and by doing this, we are helping that fascia to release any tension or anything like that. So I'd like you to just start deepening your breath a little bit, ready to come out of this pose. Didn't seem like 3 minutes at all, did it? That's it. And then gently walk your hands up from wherever you were. Okay, and we're going to do a counter pose. Okay, we're going to windshield wiper our legs. Here we go. So sit with your hands behind you like this, and you're going to put your legs about hip width apart and windshield wiper your legs like that, or windscreen, depending on what part of the world you're in. That's it. So do this a few times. Lovely for releasing the lower back. That's it. Lovely to loosen off that inner thigh. You'll already be finding the pace of this is much slower than you'd be doing in a vinyasa or a hatha or ashtanga, pretty much any other class. The only class I think that would be slower than this is maybe a restorative class, which is for another day. But yes, yin is very much slower, but much deeper, I think, in a lot of respects. So keep windshield wipering, and we're going to go on to our next pose. The next pose we're going to do is a straddle pose. Okay, what this means is you're going to sit with your, hang on to move my blocks, you're going to sit with your legs out like this, with your feet pointing up. Now put your legs out to wherever they go to. What's available to you, that's what you've really got to ask yourself. It's very introspective, this practice. You're thinking about you and what suits you, okay? So let's put your legs out and sit up nice and straight. Now you can put that blanket under your bottom as well. Let's just do that. Raises the hips a wee bit. Okay, and again we're going to try and fold forward. Now you might only be able to go this far, you might be able to go right to the floor, but again there's always options for you. Okay, so let me just start this timer again. So let's first of all just come forward and find our edge. Okay, now it might only be there, and you can rest your hands on the blocks there. If you're really struggling with this, if you really cannot do this very easily at all, you can bend your knees a little bit if you want to, but still with that edge. Okay, so just do whatever you need to do. Okay, if your hands are on your blocks here, remember there's 3 heights of blocks, 1, 2 and 3 with blocks. Okay, you can always sit like this as if you're watching the TV. That's it. But it just, your head's not doing any work. What we're trying to do is fold forward and keep that breathing going as well. Okay? And keep those toes flexed. And of course, you should feel this up your inner thigh as well. Okay? So you might find that if you're up, your blocks are in your tallest position, you might want to put them down a wee bit and think, can I come down to there? Yeah, I could probably stay there for the next couple of minutes and go with it. Okay? Really important to just remember our 3 principles, finding that edge, because otherwise you're probably just cheating yourself and just going through the motions rather than getting a nice practice through it. Find your stillness, find your contentment, and then do the time. I'm here to do the time bit for you, so you just need to wait. And another option is as well, if you really find that you want to get super relaxed, you can always do, things like this. Okay, it's a really personal thing. All I can do is suggest to you, and then you can do your own thing. It is easier with actual props, but of course you can use cushions, pillows, rolled up blankets, you name it. Be creative. That's it. Now ask yourself, can I go a little bit lower maybe? That's it. You might be flat out on the floor. That's it. You could put your blocks out in front of you as well. That's it. As long as you're feeling that edge. So remember, in our fascia, it's like this unbroken sheet of tissue that surrounds every part of your body. It's everywhere, in every nook and cranny. And as I say, if you visualise it like a web around your whole body, it supports the body, and it provides lubrication to various surfaces like your muscles and joints. You move a lot easier because the fascia is there. Keep that breathing going, remember, and I'd like you just to start breathing a little bit deeper and thinking about coming out of pose now. Okay, so starting to breathe deeply. And you'll hear our little chimes there, and then gently walk your hands back up. Okay, so by the end of the 3 minutes, you should feel like you've done a little bit of work there. So it feels like a different sort of work if you're used to doing other yoga types. That's it. Now, put those legs up again, hip width apart, put those hands back, and windscreen wiper or windshield wiper those knees. Lovely counter stretch. Really important to counter stretch when we're doing any sort of yoga really, but especially in yin, because we have held them for quite a time. Okay, so now I think we're ready to move on to our next pose, which is caterpillar pose. Okay, let me give you a little demonstration. So coming into caterpillar, remember that blanket if you want it again. You do not need to use this. This is just, I'm just showing you all the available things for you to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is really a seated forward fold. Okay, a fancy name about it. Put your legs out straight if possible in front of you, and we're just going to fold over. Now again, use those blocks. I personally use blocks quite a lot in yin, but it is up to you. Okay, so let's start our timer and then we'll start talking about variations to do with that. So remember, if you can't come over that far, you can always have your blocks like this. That's it. As long as you're at your edge, remember, you can have your blocks like that. You can also do this up the wall if you're really struggling. Just scoot that bum right into the wall and hold your legs up the wall if you want. Okay, you can also, let me show you. You can also be like this. Okay, but you have to find that edge, then find your stillness. Okay, that's it. Now this obviously is targeting your hamstrings again. We're doing hips today, and it's obviously your spine is coming forward as well, getting a lovely stretch on your spine. Keep those feet flexed up to the ceiling as far as you can. That's it. And just watch your lower back. You shouldn't feel any pinching in this pose. That's it. As long as you think, I could probably hold this for a couple of minutes, but I'm at my edge. You're just about there. And the more you do that yin, the more you'll get used to this. You'll get to the point where you think, it's this pose, and you'll get all your props in that you need. Okay, you might not like any props at all. And just hold on to your feet if you like. It's up to you. My job is just to show you what to do and give you the alternatives, okay? But you have to be relatively comfortable for that amount of time. Another option is if you are struggling with your lower back, you can also bend your knees and come forward. Okay? But it's just whatever, whatever suits you. And we've done a couple of minutes already, that's the thing. If you settle in, you find that the time does fly in. It certainly does. You'll find that your hamstrings are probably the first bit you feel, and your calves as well. And if you're holding on to if you're flexing your feet are getting a nice stretch too. So far we've opened up the hips in our butterfly and our straddle pose. And now we are getting a lovely forward bend in here. That's it. Just keep going. Remember that breathing as well. That's it. And I want you to just start deepening your breathing again. That's it. We always deepen our breathing, just ready to come up. Okay, so wherever your hands are, just slowly walk them up. That's it. And we're going to come into a tabletop. Okay, so pop your props to the side just for just now. That's it. And put your hands and knees on the mat. You can tuck your toes or have your feet, top of your feet on the floor. Now your shoulders are above your wrist here and your hips are above your knees. And we're going to do a couple of cat-cows here, okay, just as a nice counter stretch. You can stay in tabletop, tuck that navel into your spine. Other than that, you can inhale and look up. Exhale, push the back up to the ceiling. Inhale and look up. Push the back up to the ceiling. That's it. Inhale, look up. Push that back up into the ceiling. Wonderful. Keep doing them, a couple at your own speed. That's it. Just get that spine mobilised again. Wonderful. And back to a neutral spine. Okay, so we're going to go on and do our next move now. So we're going to come into our shoelace pose now. Now what that means, we're going to do a half shoelace. So we're going to have the right leg folded over the left. So let me show you. You pop the left leg out straight with your toes flex towards the ceiling, and then you're going to bring this one over the top like that. Try and get your knees lined up. They don't have to be lined up, but this is your shoelace pose. Okay, now you can obviously do a full shoelace pose, but this is half shoelace, and the right leg is crossed over. So let's get into that position. I'll start my timer. We're doing 3 minutes as usual. So let's get into this position. Again, use that blanket if you want to. It helps to prop up that lower back. And let's get into position. Okay, now you can sit up like this. Remember your blocks. That's it. Sit like this, or you can just sit with your hands at the side, like that. And you can sort of wiggle your toes round as well if you're struggling to get that knee in line. But as I say, the knee doesn't need to be in line. And obviously we are targeting the hips. Again, flexion, external rotation, adduction as well. And just finding that edge. Now you can start to fold forward as well. If you find that sitting up is not enough for you, you can fold forward a little bit too. And you can even use a strap. If you've got a strap, you could fold forward and hold on to that if you wanted. But it's a really personal thing, it is. I don't think many people do exactly the same way. And obviously this hamstring is getting targeted as well. If you're doing this hamstring will be getting targeted as well. That's it. So remembering that breathing, triggering that relaxation response because you're doing lovely deep breathing through your nose. Remember, you can be suiting yourself. Feeling that hamstring as well. We will do this on the other side as well. Finding your edge, asking yourself if that's where it is. If not, readjust yourself. That's absolutely fine. Feel all the tight points in your body. And breathe into them. And get rid of any tension. Just starting to deepen your breathing again. Starting to think about moving out of posture, although we're not moving out quite yet. That's it. That breathing, ready to come out. And then we'll do our counter pose after this side. So just gently walking your hands back up, taking your time. That's it. And then doing that lovely windshield wiper again. So remember, hands back. Knees about hip width apart and windshield wiper. And you can feel that loosening off your lower back, can't you, when you do that? Side to side. Go as fast or as slow as you want. That's it. Don't go mad going really fast, but it's up to you. Speed is up to you. Do whatever you need to do. If you've got a counter pose that you prefer, if you're used to doing yin a lot, please do that instead. Okay? Back and forward. And forward. That's it. Okay, well done. So we're going to go on and do dragon on the right hand side as well. We're going to bend the right knee or the right leg forward first of all. So what we're going to do is baby dragon first of all. Now what this means is that you're going to put your right leg forward on the mat. Try and keep your knee over your ankle. Now pad this knee up if you need to. Okay, we are going to just have it back a wee bit. Okay, so if you're not right in your kneecap, that helps as well. So we've got this all nicely padded up. Take your time to get comfortable. Okay, and we're going to be like this. Okay, now you can be tented up on your fingertips. You can be flat on the floor. You can get those blocks as well. Remember the 3 heights, but we're here. Okay, So I will start the timer. There we go. And it's really important actually to use a timer. I know that sounds really obvious, but there's no point in guessing, because every time, if you do a personal yin practice as well, you want to be, if anything, lengthening that hold time. So it's really important to know if you can hold it for 3 minutes. If 3 minutes is too much, hold it for 2 minutes. Okay? As I say, nothing should be painful at all. Nothing should be painful at all. So we're here. Your hands are wherever you need to. Your hands might be up here. Okay? Now, if this is all too much for you, you can be here as well. Okay? You can absolutely be there. If you need to increase that edge, then just wiggle that foot forward, okay? And try and breathe into that hip joint here, okay? Because the more you clamp the muscle around, the harder it's going to be to relax into this pose. So really think about where you're feeling this, okay? And breathe into it. That's it. Now we're going to come into a winged dragon now. So what we're going to do is just gently, just keep your right leg where it is and just push that knee just a few times out to the side, okay? That's it. And then hold it out there. Okay, if that's too much, stay in baby dragon where we were before. So pushing that out. So this is just adding another dimension, isn't it, to the stretch. That's it. Feeling that edge, then getting your stillness, and then doing the time. Okay, so remember that hand can be wherever you want. That back knee shouldn't be hurting you at all. Nothing should be hurting. That's it. And staying here just for a few more seconds. Pushing that knee. And of course, push the knee out more if you feel you need more as well. And breathe. Remember to breathe. Think of all that tension that you're getting rid of. We're getting really deep here. We get deep with yoga anyway, but we're getting even deeper now because we're spending the time, and it's the time that makes you achieve that deeper stretch. So the time element is really, really important. So staying here. That's it. And we're going to start to deepen our breathing here again. Getting ready to think about moving again. That's it. And some of these poses you'll be quite happy in. Other poses you'll be thinking, when is this 3 minutes up? That's why it's important to have the timer on. So gently, just starting to tuck that back foot, come back up, that's it, and pop your props to the side for a wee minute because we're going to take a downward dog. That's it, hands on the mat, knees on the mat, toes on the mat, then coming on up to downward dog. That's it. Now feel that lovely stretch up your legs, up your arms. Now walk the dog. If you need to, you might find you're quite warm. The heels do not need to come to the floor. Remember, bend your knees if you want to as well. That's it. Just spend a bit of time in your downward dog, stretching all those stretches out that we've just done. Wonderful. Now come back down onto your knees, and we're going to come into shoelace on the other side now. So remember how we did that? We crossed our right leg over last time. So we're going to sit up again. Remember that blanket if you want to. Now you can use a couple of blankets. There's none to say, it just has to be one. That's it. Get that blanket ready. Put your right leg out straight this time and cross your left knee over. Now just try and scooch that foot back a wee bit. Line up your knees if you can, doesn't have to be. Find your edge, get your props. That's it. And then you can fold forward a little bit if you want to. That's absolutely fine. And I will start the timer. Can't forget about the timer, can we? Be sitting here all day. That's it, leaning forward. So remembering that breath. Keep readjusting if you need to. and find that edge and stay there. That's it. If you find you can maybe get this top leg round a bit more, feel free just to adjust it. That's it. Keeping that breathing going. Starting to feel a real deep relaxation in your practice, a nice stillness, and a wee bit of contentment and acceptance that we're staying here for the next couple of minutes. Every second that we stay here is going to help us. Remember, keep at that edge, keep where your edge is. If that means folding a little bit forward or taking this foot round a little bit more, please do so. And breathe into that tension, any tightness or tension that you feel. Thinking about those hips, we're helping to counteract all the sitting driving that we do, sitting on the couch, sitting at our desks, all of this is what we're helping to counteract by doing this pose. Doing any of these poses really, but these ones especially today because we're concentrating on hips. And I mean to say, if you have any pins and needles, anything like that, anything that doesn't feel right, then just back off from what you're doing. Pins and needles obviously isn't a good, although it's not necessarily painful, is not a good sign of anything. So, and it usually means you've just gone a little bit too far. So even though you feel that you maybe want to stretch to a certain point, then just back off a wee bit, okay? So just back off and sit back up, or just take your foot off the gas a wee bit. And same goes for any pain whatsoever. Feel nice and calm and relaxed. So we're going to start thinking about deepening our breathing again. That's it. Deepen up your breathing. And gently pop your props to the side and just walk those hands back up. That's it. Seems like 3 minutes, does it? So we're going to do our windscreen wipers again. Remember we did these on the other side. So knees apart, windscreen wiper those legs. That's it. Back and forward, back and forward. So we're going to go on and do dragon on the left hand side now. Set yourself up the same way as we did before. Remember, you can have a pad for your knee, okay, and it's left leg forward this time. So just step your left leg forward. Remember that knee and your ankle, okay? And maybe try and don't put the kneecap directly on the floor, okay? Now remember, you can have your props or not at all if you don't want to. Just here, okay? And get yourself in position, and I'll start the timer. Okay, now remembering that breath, okay? And remember, you've got your 3 heights of your blocks as well. Okay, you can also be on your fingertips. And if that's too much for you, you can come up and rest. Okay, now obviously you're feeling this in between your hips. This is a lovely hip opener. And remembering to find your edge as well, okay? So just adjusting your back knee if you need to, padding it up more if you need to as well, and put the top of that foot on the floor. That's it. So you're in your variation, you're finding your edge. So it's just at the edge of, discomfort, really. You don't want to be in pain or anything like that. And that breathing, by keeping your breathing nice and steady, even just doing that 3 in and 3 out like we did at the beginning, that really, really helps to trigger your relaxation response in the body. And breathe in to any discomfort that you feel. And when I say discomfort, you know, there's a very big difference between discomfort and pain. It shouldn't be painful. So you should definitely feel this stretch. That's it. And then what we're going to do is, remember before, keep the bond block there actually, and then just push that knee out to the degree that you want to push it out at. That's it. Into winged dragon. And you can feel how that changes the stretch there. Keeping that breathing going. That's it. Making sure that back knee is not sore. That's it. And keeping going. That's it. Normally, obviously, in Ashtanga or Vinyasa yoga, whenever we're doing that, we don't hold them for half as long as this, do we? So we obviously get the benefit of a stretch, we get the benefit of doing those types of yoga, but this is very different. We're holding it, we're committing to it. And that, I think, allows a different sort of flexibility in the muscle. They're very much static holds, aren't they? A bit like when you're doing weights, you can, you know, do lots of repetitions, you can do static holds, and it increases your strength just the same way. It's just another way of doing it. So starting to deepen your breath again, you can tuck that back toe in readiness. Start to increase the depth of the breath, ready to come back up. That's it. And just start to gently come out of pose. That's it. Okay, and then we're going to put the block to the side, any props to the side, make sure we don't trip over them. And we're going to put our hands on the mat and step back into downward dog. So come up to tabletop first. Just find yourself here and then push up. That's it. Walking the dog if you need to. Hands are splayed. Shoulder width apart, pushing the mat away, and the feet are hip width apart, nice and parallel. That's it. Heels do not need to be touching the ground, your heels can be up and your knees can be bent as well. So walking that dog out after those lovely stretches. That's it. So come on down again and we will go in to our next move, which is a half saddle pose. Okay, so we're going to do the right hand side first, and we're going to hold this pose for a total of 4 minutes, but 2 minutes each side. Okay, so let me just set my timer and I'll show you how we're going to do this one. So we're going to sit with our left leg forward and our right leg back. Now I'll show you what I'm doing with that right leg. Okay, the heel is on the outside of the thigh here. Okay, really important, and your thighs nice and straight if you can. Okay, now there's a full version of this as well, but we're doing the half version just now. Remember those props if you need them. Okay, so you're going to stay here. Let me just set my timer. You're going to stay here and you can put your hands back like this. Okay. Okay, now you can stay like this. If this is too much for you, okay, you can always bend that front knee and sit up a little bit, okay? But do try it, see if you can get into it. Now, if that's too easy for you, you can then come down on your elbows. The further you come down, the more you feel it on that thigh, don't you? That's it. And if that's okay for you, slowly come on down and lie like this. Now, you can lie with your hands next to your side, or you can lie with your hands back like that. It's really a personal thing, because you can feel you're really opening up that hip area, that quadricep and your hip flexors get a lovely big stretch there. So we do this for 2 minutes on either side. And settle in. Find where you need to be, find that stillness and settle in. That's it, nice breathing. Making your commitment to staying here for the amount of time, and trust that I'll tell you when your time is up as well. And remembering those variations, you're either down, lying down, or you can be up on your elbows here, okay? And do remember, you can be propping yourself up in any way at all. You can be putting something under your head, or you can be up here, hands on the floor, hands on blocks. You know what I mean by now, don't you? Now, what we're going to do is take that right foot forward, and we're going to put the left one back now. So you can roll onto one bottom cheek, put it, remember that heel, okay, we're not sitting on the heel. Try and keep that foot flexed if you can at the other side. And again, start off with your hands about a hand width away. There we go. And you can just feel the pose first of all, get yourself used to that. And then if that's okay, come down on to your elbows. That's it. And you may find this side's different. Our bodies are not symmetrical. No one ever suggested they were, but I think we think they should be. So let's come right back down if you want to as well. That's it. And remember, you are here for a couple of minutes, so what's going to be comfortable for you is not going to be the best position for somebody else. What we're trying to do is maximise the benefits for you, not who's on the mat next to you. So if you're doing that with this with somebody else, then it's okay to be in different variations. Absolutely fine. And of course, no pain, no back pain, nothing like that. Okay, and staying down here. Now remember, even if it gets too much for you down in your back, come up carefully onto your elbows. Or, remember, you can be up here. And remember that variation where you can actually be sitting up and the front leg can be bent slightly, okay? But do try at least the first variation. And of course, if you're holding like this, you don't want your ankle, your wrists getting sore either, okay? So just be aware of that nothing should be endured in a bad way. It's not meant to be an hour of torture. This is really a time for you to get the benefits of this lovely restorative practice. That's it. So, starting to deepen your breathing again in preparation for coming out of this pose. That's it. And then slowly walking up from wherever you are, okay, and coming back up. Now we're going to do a counter pose like we always do. So for this one, we are going to sit on our heels if we can, put our head on the floor and put our hands, the top of our hands on the floor next to our feet. That's it. Into child's pose. And feel the lovely counter stretch from doing your saddle poses. Feel how nice that feels. Nice deep breaths. That breathing's always there. It's just nice to be reminded sometimes, isn't it? That's it. Okay, stay there for just a little second or two, and then we'll go in to our final set of poses. Okay, so we're going to come down onto our back this time. Okay, down onto your back. Okay, knees together if possible, and lie down. Now, hands can be out to the sides at a right angle to your body. And first of all, we're going to drop the knees to the right hand side, gently of course. So try and keep them together and drop them over. They don't need to come to the floor. Okay, same rules apply. You can even put something between your knees, blanket between your knees. You can put a block if your knees aren't quite reaching that floor. Put a block there. Okay, it's finding new edge, remember. Okay, so let me start this timer. And we'll settle in. Okay. So, this is a lovely spinal twist. And if you want to, you can look over to the left as well. Your knees are dropped to the right. You're looking over to the left. And we're just settling in at this point. We're getting used to being in this position. We're settling in. That's it. And remember, those knees do not need to come to the floor. Just be comfortable wherever you are. That's it. And remember your breathing as well. You don't have to be looking over to the left. You can look straight up at the ceiling if you want. That's it. And feel that lovely twist, giving your internal organs a nice wee massage. This will wake them up a little bit, won't it? That's it. And just settling in and feeling it. Remembering your breathing. And there's just so many benefits to Yin Yoga. Probably by this point in your practice you'll have realised that it's quite relaxing, isn't it? It's quite relaxing because we are breathing quite steadily for periods of time. We're not moving about. We're not trying to get into certain poses. It's just quite relaxing. The form of this sort of yoga is quite relaxing. And you're having to sit still, aren't you? Even though you're on your edge, of course, you're having to sit still. And sometimes being kind of forced, I don't like the word forced, but if you're kind of forced to sit still for a few minutes, that is never a bad thing. That's it. Okay, staying there while I check our time. Okay, now it's starting to just deepen your breaths now in that reclined twist. And of course we're going to do a small counter pose, then we'll do the other side. So lie back and hug those knees into the chest. You can bring your head up as well, get that full spinal twist, or just lie back. Just for a wee second or two. Then we're going to come down. I'll set my timer again. Soles of feet on the floor, arms out, and pop your knees over to the left hand side. Now, remember the props that I've been using. You don't need these props. If you go to a yoga class in a yoga studio, all these props will be on hand for you, of course. But we're working at home here, we're doing this at home, so we have to be realistic. If you're lucky enough to have all the props, then great, but you can use other things for it. We don't have to go and buy something that's got, the word yoga in it for it to be effective. Any blankets, any pillows are absolutely fine. And you can use many, many things as blocks. Believe me, I've used a dictionary before. It's kind of the right shape. Just use your best judgment. That's it, lying back and just enjoying this last yin pose of our practice. So yes, the benefits of yin are of course, relaxation is one of them. And what we're doing is we are working on those deeper layers of the fascia to loosen up, take away any tightness, hopefully take away any tightness that we maybe wouldn't usually get the opportunity to do in a faster flowing class. That's it. Remembering your edge, let's not forget that. All you guys need to do is find your edge, commit to staying there, and I'll do the timing. Nice deep breaths. And in our class today we've done all of our moves really have been directed towards opening up those hips. And by hips I mean the whole area, not just the bits at the side that we consider our hips, the whole pelvic area down there really is what we have been trying to open up and ease any tension in. Okay, so stay there, I'll just double check how long we've got. So we're just starting to deepen your breath slightly. Starting to prepare to come out of pose. That's it, and then we're going to counter pose again by lifting our knees into our chest, like this. And remember, you can involve that head as well, or you can leave that down. Lovely. Now, it's time for our Shavasana. And by Shavasana, I mean lying on your mat with your feet mat width apart and your hands out from your sides with the back of your hand on the floor, okay? So we're into Shavasana. Suppose you may have done this many times, you may never have done it at all. But this is your final resting pose. So get yourself comfy. Use one of those blankets to cover yourself up if you like. If you've got an eye mask, wonderful. You can put that on as well. And close your eyes. And this is when we reap all the benefits of everything that we've done in this practice today. So just slowly working up your way up the body, thinking of your feet and allowing them to switch off. You don't need to do anything for the next few minutes or so. Working your way up to the calves and the knees and the thighs, mindfully resting them while we're in this Shavasana. And your pelvic area and your abdomen and your back and your shoulders, switching all that off, and your arms and your wrists and the back of those hands as well in contact with the floor. And of course your neck and your head, just giving it all permission to shut down for a minute or two. We've done a different sort of, if you're very used to other types of yoga, this will be very different for you. But we have worked on a different level from what we normally work on. And this is the point where your body gets to just repair and restore itself without rushing up from your mat and getting on with something else. So let's lie here just for a few minutes. And remember, get comfy. Don't want to have any pain. If you've got any itches, just try and ignore them. Bring your attention back to the breath. Because this can be one of the hardest yoga poses there is for some people. And so just settling in and relaxing for the next few minutes.
So gently just bringing your awareness back into the room. Just very, very slowly bringing your consciousness back to where we are and what we're doing. And inviting a little bit of movement back into your body. We've been relaxing quite in a deep way, so just take your time. And just invite and do whatever you need to do. That might be wiggling your fingers and toes. That might be bending your knees and putting the soles of your feet on the floor. So do it in your way. As I say many times, it is your practice. I am just here to guide you, to give you ideas, and to give you a format to practice in, but you have to feel it yourself. So very, very gently coming up to sitting, only when you're ready. And when you are ready, sit with your legs crossed. Those hips should be nice and loose by now. I'm kidding, sitting with your legs crossed. That's it. And putting your hands at your heart. I hope this practice heals and strengthens your body and your mind. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for your Yin practice today, focusing on the hips. Please come back for more Yin practice or whatever other practices you want to do. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. See you later.